Dave here. How are you? Today is the 14th of February 14th of March 2021. I knew I'd get caught up. Okay, so if someone can let me, good, excellent. Socials are all done. Thank you, Peter. You'll be getting a notification on Facebook and Instagram as I chat. I hope everyone's had a good week. I've had a busy week. I've been working on this new dust extraction system. You can see the 6-inch main trunk above my head here going down instead of the 4-inch. There's a whole lot more has happened down the other end of the workshop, and I'm not going to show you that at the moment. You'll have to wait until I do the video. And for people curious, yes, there is an improvement, even using just my 2-horse machine, which I may upgrade to a 3-horse. We'll see what happens. All good. Okay, so today on the show, this week on the show, Lutyen Bench. That's all I've got written up the top there, Lutyen Bench. There's normally a whole lot of stuff there. Now, the Lutyen Bench that I'm going to make, I'm basing on the one that was made in fine woodworking. And this is around about 2000. So this is 21 years old, this book. If you can find a copy that actually has the grid and everything inside it, you're doing very well. This is the copy that I had, no grid. So I had to make up my own grid to get it going. Now, the gentleman who designed that particular one in that magazine, his name is Tony O'Malley, and very clever. Obviously, the person who made the Lutyen Bench was Lord Lutyen. I think it was Lord Lutyen or Mr. Lutyen. We'll just call him Mr. Lutyen. We don't want to get too fancy. All right, so the first thing I did, if you're interested, everyone might be turning off by now, I don't know. Good morning to everyone that's saying hello. First thing I did was create this. Now basically this is a 25mm grid. So for you guys in the States that insist on using inches, this is very, very close to a 1-inch by 1-inch grid. Every line, the dark lines are 4 inches apart, basically 100mm apart. This helped me a lot whilst I was doing this. Now, if you're new to woodworking, this is a way that you can generate a template. This is 3mm thick MDF. That's all it is. And you can see on the back, it's got a little bit of black paint on it because this was my mask for when I painted all of my solar panels. All the aluminium around the edge was silver. I cleaned it off with acetone and painted it satin black. Looks a whole lot better on a house. So that's where I'm at. You remember in the old days we used to use a bit of graph paper and we could just follow and draw something on a piece of graph paper by doing a grid over the top of whatever we wanted to transpose an image from here to here, make it bigger. Really easy. But a lot of these old skills are lost as we get older and rely more on technology. Now, on purpose, on this build, I will not be using the CNC. I'll do all of this, and if you've don't have a bandsaw, that's fine. If you don't have a spindle sander or anything like that, that's fine. If you don't have a domino, that's fine. All you will really need is a jigsaw or a coping saw. It's going to be a lot longer with a coping saw, but a jigsaw is fine. And maybe a little benchtop linisher, you know, type you get from the big green box store. What else? Sir Edwin, not Lord, Sir. We went up another level. Not King Lutyen. That's a step too far, isn't it? Okay, so I'm looking forward to this. What else were we going to talk about? Oh, before we get stuck into the actual bench, you know, last week we did the video on, the whole project was building the support for sleds, table saw sleds. Well, this is how it's finished up. I put a couple of dominoes down the bottom there, as I said, to stiffen this part. I put it over my little belt sander. I used the nose of the sander to do the internal curves. I used the flat section of the belt sander to do the external radius. On the back, I have a ripping 1/4 inch thick, which was my packer to bring this part up level with the top of the actual surface of the table. And underneath here is a Bessie toggle clamp. Piece of cake, works brilliantly. Hit it with a couple of coats of whittle wax and it's ready to go. I'll show you it in action later on in the show. Now the timber I'm going to use for this bench is New Guinea teak. It's an outside project, so I want the timber to be able to resist decay. And the particular timber I'm using, let me see if I've got a small piece so I don't have to drag that large section up here. I had it here. There it is. It's quarter sawn. See that? That is quarter sawn. That's a whole lot more stable. It's going to resist cupping and twisting and all that kind of stuff. Now this part that we're going to build is in two sections. We're going to do the fancy rail across the back, which goes out to the end, big round sections which are part of the armrest either side. This is a project I've been wanting to do for years and years and years. I'm so excited about it. And I've held off doing any more on it on purpose. That's why I got stuck into the dust extraction during the week, so I wouldn't do any more on it. Okay, now the first thing I need to do after I've marked everything out with my French curve, I'll pop this up here so we're ready to go. You excited? Sirs and dames in AU, I have no idea. We've got, yes, we've got Dame Edna. You research Dame Edna. Possums? All right. I'm getting lost again, aren't I? All right. So I'll go to CarlCam, if I can find it. Ah, there it is. All right. So you can see it there. That's upside down. I better turn it around the right way. There we go. We're going to make one of these, and this is going to be my template. So I will be putting a piece of timber like that, 8 inches wide, 200 millimeters, and like so, all the way down. That's how you get that shape. And then we'll flip this over to make the other one. Or we can just cut it like that as well again, and just flip the board over after we make it. But first thing we have to do is cut this out on the bandsaw. And that's going to be the next project after I show you, where are we? I thought I had it here. No, oh, this is what the bench is hopefully going to look like in the end. So there you go. And this is marking the section out with a French curve. Now this is all free form. I just enjoy myself as I'm traveling around the board with the French curve and make sure it's up the right way. Here I go to put it in the right spot, but no, I've got to flip it over. And at this point here, I'm joining up a flat section, which is one of the uprights is going to be joining into that flat section near where the nib is. But I've marked it outside the line of where the timber is actually wide enough. So I'll have to do that part again, but I don't discover that for a couple of minutes, or for a minute, whatever. As I say, the grid makes it so much easier, and then all of the dimensions that I put in help me along to get my reference points for the curve to run up against. Now here I put the timber over it, and I notice part of that curve is sticking out past the width of the timber. But even if you're a beginner, you can still do this. Make a template on a bit of scrap MDF or cardboard. And I'm just moving the curve around, and I'm wondering if Sir Lutyen used a French curve. Correct. Vinny, this is the top. And that's just so I don't cut in the wrong spot. Back to me. I think that's enough of looking at the preparation. So we're 10 past, and as I say, this is what I did to get all my reference points. It took a little while. I was measuring off the grid that was in the book, and then I had to kind of tweak it a bit as well, just so it looked good to the eye. And I had to make sure that this top section up here, which is the arch at the top of the bench, remember it's only half that we're doing and the other half is going to join on, it had to be flowing. So when it joined, it didn't look like it was coming up like a Gothic arch. You know, Gothic arches have got a peak, Roman arches have got a round. Well, I wanted it to look more like a Roman arch than a Gothic. Okay? Fresh curve. Sir Edwin. Not Sir Lutyens. Why not? I don't think he'd mind at the moment. He's dead and gone a long time ago. You know, even knights die. Did you know that? They probably, well, in the old days, knights didn't live terribly long because they'd be jousting. Sorry, mate. Off you go. Bring out the wagon. All right. Let's get over here. We'll start up. The dust extractor is going to start automatically. See up here? This is my autoblastgate.com blastgate. That will open and turn the dusty on down the end on my 6-inch main, which has got a 4-inch line down to the bottom. I love it. I think I might have put a link in the description box down the bottom below the video. If I haven't put a link to autoblastgates.com.au, all you got to do is just type it in, and they're magic. They don't block. They do not block. It's a totally different design to the plastic ones, which my plastic gates tend to block. These things don't. All right, go to the other camera. And there we are. All good? And I'll put the old eye muffs on. Oh, did you know you can get, instead of just a clear lens, if you're going outside, you can put the sexy specs on. Impress the girls. There we go. Or the boys, whatever you want. Okay. Everything is on. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is run down that line. So the straight line, so I don't have all the rest of the template hanging off the edges. That one and the other one. Okay, now I'm left with that shape there. How good was the dust extraction? Very closing. It's increased the pickup at the end of that line by 400 cubic feet a minute. I'm impressed. Okay, so we have this, and it's going to be like that. So now what I've got to do, you might notice there's a couple of spots I've written drill, because on an internal curve I'm going to get a much cleaner cut than if I use a jigsaw or a bandsaw to do an internal curve. Now, to do that, I'm going to use a backing board, the scrap ply or unloved ply, whatever you want to call it at the moment, to put it on, so I don't go straight the way through. Now, why not stick the two pieces of wood together so you get identical pieces, one flipped? I could do, but if there's any wander in the blade at all, I could, but that's a lot of teak I'm going to be going through to try and control. So first thing I'm going to do is put in a Forstner bit. Now I'm using an 1¼ inch Forstner bit. Now this thing is normally designed, if it's a sawtooth, they're normally designed for end grain. I don't have any that are just the straight Forstner bits. This is, as I say, sawtooth bit, and it'll be fine for what I'm doing. No, it's not going to stress me out too much. I will do a little bit of sanding near the end. Now the other thing is, you notice there's a weird thing. They put the size of the bit on this part of the shank that goes into the chuck. And of course the jaws get a hold of it, it slips now and then. So how do I know it's an 1¼ inch? I use that and measure it. That's pretty good. Now, Forstner bits or sawtooth bits are a little harder to control on a job because they don't have that really long point that a spade bit or a speed ball, whatever you want to call it. So you have to be a little bit cautious. I'm going to put the point down there, just have a quick turn and know that I'm pretty good. I think I'm nearly through. I'm through now. There we go. Now doesn't that, put it over the blue so you can see it, doesn't that look a whole lot neater than if I try to hack through there, off-cut, if I try to hack through there with the jigsaw or the bandsaw, you know. In a situation like this, take the time. Take the time, and there's no rush to make these projects. Just enjoy yourself. It's all good. Done. Okay, so this part here, as I say, out there this way, it's hard when I'm looking at the mirror, or basically, this is the end of the armrest. Basically going like that. Now, I'm going to do a couple of cuts here and here. These are called relief cuts, and I may even do one there and one there, just to cut that out. And then I can start doing my curves, flat sections, and that part down the end. Got to make sure I get on the right spot. What are you using? I'm using NZ teak. Sorry, NG teak, New Guinea teak. I think I said that right at the beginning, and I'm using quarter sawn. You know, it's worthwhile getting the good timber at the beginning. That's the actual dimension of a 6-inch piece, I think. No, that might be this one. Yeah, it is. That's the 8-inch. I'm in another world. Back over to the other camera, and let's see if I can't stuff it up. There we go. All right. Eye muffs on to start. The person who won the eye muffs the other week was so excited when he heard his name called out. That was Len. He did a little scream. His wife didn't know what was going on. Here we go. Relief cuts. See that? Works well. And do this cut. We can sand these up as well, so we're just going, favouring the outside of the black line, but I'm still inside the black line. Getting the bearings as I'm going into this cut. I can stand up. I'm using a 3/8 blade. By 6 PPI. Notice I do not put my hand in there to clear stuff away. I'll use the sander to finish cleaning those off. Whoop. Took the wrong one. That's all right. We might be able to save it. That's right. I'm on the right one now. Remember, this is only a template. But I might have to do a little bit of digging around there to fix it. Just did what I said I wouldn't do, didn't I? I've got to come around the other side of the template. A little bit hard because now I'm steering with my left hand. My right hand's basically just holding it in place, but the left hand is the one doing all the turning. I'm using this hand as a pivot. Whoop, lights have gone off. I wasn't moving around enough and the automatic lights decided to say, yeah, no one here, let's turn it all off. I can't wait for all the comments now. Oh, those bloody lights are dangerous. Get out of that corner. There we go. What am I going to do here? I'm stuck. No, I'm going to turn this around and come out this side. Done. All right. That's easier to control now. Clean that up with a bit of paper. We're nearly there. This is where I'm doing the pivoting. Other side again. Back to the other camera. What do you reckon? Give me time to read all the comments. Tell me what a rubbish bandsaw operator I am. Yes, once this template's done, which that looks pretty cool. What do you reckon? So there's a flat section there. Hear the rain? It's pouring down. There's a flat section there, so that part there is where the rear leg is going to come up and make contact. This section here is where there's going to be another support in the back, and there'll be another one right in the middle coming down from here. So I can't really glue this together, even if I got all this done. It is a good job for CNC, but Michael, I said at the beginning, I've actually had a little bit of flack for owning a CNC and people saying, oh, it's not real woodwork. So I thought I would just do this one with things that anyone could do. As I said, that part there I just cut out with my bandsaw. I could have cut it out with a jigsaw. Wouldn't have been as neat, but I could have done it. I hate it when it happens in the middle of a cut. Yeah. I just wave my hand around and the lights come on. The Lutyen's garden bench plans printed out to actual size. Did they? Calipers for exact measurements. Everyone's going to start building Lutyen benches, which is great. Let me see. Tools are all You're in DeWalt Facebook. There you go. Many of us have bandsaws. Yeah, there you go, Ted. That's exactly, I get that. I really do get that. Fisco measuring tools are great. All right, there's other stuff you're chatting about there. Now. Stephen came up with the idea that I bond those two together and then put this on. Now, before I do that, I'm going to, no, I'll do that now. I'll put the piece of timber up and we'll mark it onto here so then I can cut it out. Now, with any timber that you use, whether it's New Guinea teak or anyone else, mahogany, check the end for splits, both ends. This is pretty good, but I'm going to favour that end, this end here. And I'm just slightly less. I have gone over a little bit. That's all right. I'm going to have to adjust my template a little bit because it's, I've gone outside those lines. It's because I've been using the black texture. So I think it'll be all right. What I might do is mark it out and then cut it out on the bandsaw, mark the other, and before I do the other one, well, if you've been, Grivjet, if you've been listening, you understand what I get. I get it. I get that a lot of people don't like CNCs or don't have CNCs, and a lot more people have traditional tools, and that's great. That's great. But I'm not going to limit myself to what I do here because someone else in another part of the world doesn't favour the kind of machines that I have. All right, next thing. I'm going to mark on the timber here where we're at. So let's go to CarlCam. Does it make a little bit more sense when you see it like that? Who doesn't know cut out a template? Shouldn't matter if you use a CNC and get it more accurate. Well, there you go. I think we'll be fine. I'm going to keep the tops all in line, and I think that'll work well. Just going to hold it steady. Yeah, so what I'll do is I will cut this and then we'll take it over to the router table and do the finish using this template after I clean it up. But this is the important part. Now I will drill the hole here, and I will drill that hole there. See that? I can blend that in with a French curve. That's not an issue. And I'll tidy this one up first. I will sand the template, but I don't need to sand the template quite yet, Steve, because this is a cutout on the bandsaw, and then I'll sand the template, and then I'll bond it down. All right, back to, yep. So that's what I have, and I'll cut that out on the bandsaw now. Make the template perfect first. Don't need to. Don't need to. I'm going to use the, what do you call the bloody things? A router with a bearing on it and a flush trim bit, big one. It'll be fine. CNC and his design skill, but it wouldn't be considering more time consuming. Setting up, look, I'll address that question now. If I was to do a run of these, yes, I'd spend the time and set it up in Aspire or Vecchio V-Carve. And then I could do multiple runs and, you know, zap, 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 and it'd come off perfectly. There's no need for me to do a template anymore, no need for me to take it over to the router table. It would do it perfect on the CNC. End of story. But I'm doing one. This may be quicker than spending the time. Yes. I will be flipping the template or flipping the timber. It doesn't matter because it's going to be the same if I flip the timber or the template. See that? If I've got that faced that way, like so, and then I turn it around without smashing myself on Zoe's sign, that way, it's the same as flipping the template. Where am I? Blue Mountains, good. Okay, yes. All right, let's go back to camera 3. And keep on going. Oh, no, before I go to camera 3, I've got to cut that hole out with the drill on a backing board. See, I'm getting caught up in the conversation and not focusing on what I'm doing here. Let's get this done. These things tend to bog up a little bit. Don't go touching it, that'll be hot. Bit of coffee. Like you don't think the girls are going to want one. Oh, I think they will. I know that Derek's wife has said to him, you pay attention to what Dave's doing, because she wants one too. Let's finish this. Yeah. Nearly. There it is. Good. And the other one. Gone slightly off on that one, but it's not going to matter. Where'd I get the timber from? I got it from work. Every now and then they get a batch in. Bob, possibly, but you know I can hold a drill pretty straight. See? Bit more. That's it. Through. There we go. Done. Easy. Right. Now, put the old eye muffs on. I could go clubbing in these. Probably wouldn't pick any girls up, but that'd be interesting. All right, other camera. And there we go, we'll do that one as well. You can see what I'm up to. I haven't quite got the rest of that part in there, have I? I need to make sure that that's there. Just missing that tiny little bit. I think that's all I need. Let's see how we go. back out. I'm not going to be able to get that hard turn there. Come back out very carefully. Going to move this over here so it doesn't get in the way. And do my cut in. I've got an idea for that one. That'll be okay. Do a relief cut, but not to worry. I've got an idea for what I'm going to do on the back of all of these. I'm going to put the template on the back and line up with all of these cuts. I could just hook in with the jigsaw, and it doesn't matter if I actually go through this black line a little, because remember this was on the outside of the template. So like that little part there, that's not going to worry me too much. Still not a great idea, but not to worry. If you leave little bits on here, sometimes they get stuck in the miter slot, and that can catch as you're turning the timber around, and it'll stuff you up. So you've got to be a little bit wary of that. Do my relief cut here. Now the reason we did that relief cut was I didn't want to have to back the blade all the way out that angle. Remove that. like that. I'm an idiot. Why didn't I do a release cut there? Just go very gently as you're pulling the blade back, but there's no teeth on the back of the blade. And if you pull too hard, you're going to pull the blade off the bearings. You've just got to go very carefully and make sure you don't stuff it. I'll just come straight in here. One last part. Okay, there we go, and back. Well, good. So now that is my blank. Those larger offcuts. What do you think of that? It's going to be magic. So I'll cut another blank after the show. And it's a 3/8, but how many, what kind? It's a 3/8, so it's a 10 mil 3/8, 6 TPI, 6 teeth per inch. Okay, I love this bandsaw. This has got an extremely solid, those offcuts are dangerous on the floor. Just here, the support for the top bearings, this is one of the reasons why I bought this bandsaw over a heap of others. That support is brilliant. It is so strong. And it's only a little 2-horse machine. All right, small one seems to differ. Players you could use, as Dave did, just chimed in, give thumbs up. Watch the full show tonight. Ben's Woodcraft Day, like Stephen said, everyone with their own methods, was just answering your question how long it would take. All good. Excellent. All right. Now, I did say in the before I even started the show that I'm not going to rush this job. I do not want to rush it. The next job that I'm going to do will be to tidy this template up, and then I can bond it to these one at a time, like so, using the blue tape and the super glue, lock it down, and then run it over a pattern following bit on the table saw. I'm going to turn the room air filter on when I find the remote for it, which is just here. Because whilst my dust extraction does a great job, I can smell a little bit of dust in the air. And timbers that are normally pretty weather resistant possibly are no good for you as well. But look, it's pretty clear in here. Now, I need to show you something down here quickly to let you know how much better my dust extraction system is. This is big. I'll flip the other camera on. This is my bandsaw. Normally, that would have been absolutely covered in dust. Now, I did not clean the bandsaw before I started today. But there's proof that the new system is going very, very well. This is not available anymore. It's a Carbotech bandsaw, but this particular one isn't available anymore. I think it's because Carbotech have started stocking Laguna. And, you know, why have a double up on so many different machines? Laguna's got a good name, and it's also got a brake. But this is a high capacity bandsaw, which means I can cut 14 inches this way, and it's a 14-inch saw, so I can get 13 inches that way. And it's got a resaw capacity. I can put a 20mm blade on it. I do have a bimetal blade over there for it. I'll show you. This is the one I'm going to start using for ripping. And this is 1.3, I think it is, TPI that will go on it. And it will do a very, very good job of ripping. Great, you like that bike on, it's good. I'm not going to do much more. What I will do is I'll show you the support for my table saw sled in action now that it's there. I'll move this camera down here. And about there, I think. Because I'm very, very happy with it. Extremely happy. Oh yeah, and I did all sorts of things to the old dust extractor to make it even work even better. There's all of these things I'm going to show you. Let me see, camera 3. Let's go over to that one. I'll tip the head up a little, like so. And I've gone to that one, good. All right, I'll come around this side so we're not tripping over everything. So this is the in-feed support that I made. A couple of dominoes through there, screws and glue. This here is to get the top level with that. The toggle clamp goes there. Is that perfect? Done. Allows the miter slot. This allows me to, let me just check that you can see all of that. I'll tip her around a little bit more this way. That's going to be better for you. This is so I don't run into anything and damage myself. Let's put a single sled on there and you can see how it works. There you go. Now if that hasn't impressed the stuffing out of you, I don't know what will. So I can slide stuff on the sled forwards and backwards. It gives me a whole lot more area in here without this dropping down. If that wasn't there, I'll show you. Show you what happens. Most people would be happy with it coming back to there, but we had it back here. Oh look, it's falling on the ground. Okay, now the other sled, the reason I designed it this way is so it'll work with 2 sleds. Pull this back. Take this off. Flip this back. Get the big sled. All right. As per normal, I also have stops down the other end. I don't know if you can see them down there. I'll point to them. See these little guys? I've got a miter slot that I put all the way down. These drop in it. So cannot come past. This box here is also a dust port. I can put a dust extraction hose in the side here. So this has been designed to go in the middle between the two miter slots, like so. Lock it. Not going anywhere. So there you go. I'll come back to the other camera. Easy, make one. Just watch the show that I did last week. Now remember, I archive the shows rather than having just full-on shows, because I do one once a week. And if people are trying to look for a specific thing that I've done, it's best to go to the second channel. So if you haven't subscribed to my second channel, do it, because that's where I put all of this information. After about 2 or 3 weeks, I shut the video off on this channel and I turn it on the second channel. Otherwise, it's just going to be too congested. I will put a hashtag, archived, and the date that the show happened, and they're in chronological order. So you can easily go back through all of that and check. And I'll normally have a little bit of an indication at the top what the show was about. So up to you if you want to do it or not. Let me see, what else have we got? I think that's about it. Thank you again to all of my patrons. And thanks for watching. And this, I will do more work on it during the week. I'll probably clean these all up and do the pattern and get it ready to maybe do some mortise and tenons and some dominoes as well. So it's going to be a whole mixture of connections in the back of this. I'll tell you why. This one here, I can't get a domino in there, so I'm going to have to mortise and tenon that joint. Up the top here, easy. Pair of dominoes, and down here, possibly also dominoes down there. The rear, I think I've got one here. The back of the rear legs for this I've already started on. I had to laminate together because this is going to have a 6-degree tilt in and a 6-degree tilt out for the back. So this is basically after I just glued it up with the old West Systems. Brilliant, brilliant glue. How clean is that joint? Look at that. And I know it's not going to go anywhere. It's a full-on epoxy, and with the dispensers on the top, just easy. I'll put a link in the description where you can get it from if you're in Australia. And use the links, use the links. It helps me out, got to be honest. Where are we? Where are we? I'm going to read down here, down the bottom here. That's all done. And this one here, look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. And I shall see you all next week as we continue on with this. And in about 3 or 4 minutes, we'll start the Zoom meeting for all of my patrons. And we'll do a little bit of a chat and a look behind the scenes. See you later. Bye.